Live streaming in the first, so ready to go.
Welcome to the March 4th, 2025 meeting of the Parks, Landmarks, and Cultural Affairs Committee. My name is Sarah Whittington, and I'm the Vice Chair of the committee. Tonight, we are joined by Committee Coordinator Brian Lafferty. This meeting is called to order at 6:33 p.m. As a reminder, New York State law requires all committee members who are not able to attend in person to have their cameras on and their first and last names displayed from the time of the meeting is called to order until the time of the meeting is adjourned. Members of the public who are attending virtually, you can raise any questions or comments that you have through the Q&A feature of Zoom. Members of the public who are here in person, you can raise any questions that you have by raising your hand. If there is time following the committee's discussion, we will field questions from the public. Mubin Siddiqui has volunteered to take minutes this evening. Thank you very much, Mubin. I appreciate that. We will now take attendance by roll call. Brian Rafferty will conduct the roll call.
Thank you. Committee members, when I call your name, please say present. I'll announce if there is a quorum. Neil Barclay.
Present.
Thank you. Marty Barrett.
Present.
Thank you. Paige Judge.
Present.
Thank you. Anton Mullin. Let's see, Anton. Rachel Patel is not joining us this evening. Letty Simon.
Present.
Thank you. Mark Thompson.
Present.
Thank you. Sarah Whittington.
Present.
Thank you. Robert Farfield.
Present.
Thank you. Anton Mullin.
Present.
Thank you. Mubin Siddiqui.
Present.
Thank you. Gloria Hayes.
Present.
Thank you. And Rafika Iqbal will be with us this evening with 10 of 12 present. We have a quorum.
The agenda for tonight's meeting was distributed ahead of time by the board office and is reflected on the screen before you. If there is no objection, we will adopt the agenda. Members of the committee, if you would object to adopting the agenda, please raise your hand. Seeing no objections, the agenda for tonight's meeting is adopted. The minutes from the February 4th, 2025 meeting were distributed ahead of time by the board office. If there is no objection, we will adopt the minutes as drafted. Members of the committee, if you object to adopting the minutes, please raise your hand. Seeing no objections, the minutes of the February 4th, 2025 meeting are adopted. They will soon be available on the CB6 website. So in order for us to conduct an efficient meeting, let's observe a few ground rules. I know we're not in surprise of these. First, no one may speak until granted the floor. Committee members who are here in person, if you have a question about committee business or wish to make a motion, please raise your hand and I will identify you so you can speak. Committee members unable to attend in person, if you have a question about committee business, you may raise your hand through Zoom and I will identify you so you can speak. All committee members, it is extremely important that only one person speak at a time so that members of the public watching at home can understand what is being said by each committee member. The chat function for committee members present via Zoom should not be used for committee business or questions about agenda topics. All such remarks should be made on the record by raising your hand through Zoom. Chat should only be used to alert us to any technical difficulties you are having or to state in writing information like an email address that was already stated aloud on the record during the meeting. Tonight's agenda, number one, we have a presentation by the Department of Parks on a temporary public art installation on Park Avenue from 34th Street to East 38th Street. We will have a report from the New York City Department of Parks and Recreation. There will be a discussion of the statement of the district needs and budget requests, a chair's report, and old and new business. We will now take a vote on the agenda as read by roll call. When your name is called, please answer in favor, opposed, abstained, not entitled. Brian will take a vote by roll call.
We don't have to take a vote on it.
We don't take that.
Yeah,
No objections, so. Should be okay.
so I think we can go to the first.
So the first item agenda, shall we, do we have our guest panelist here?
I'm here.
I'm here.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
How are you, Elizabeth? Thank you so
Good,
much
thank
for
you.
coming.
It's been a while, so I'm sure there might be a few new faces around here. I see a lot of familiar faces. Just to give you an overview of who I am and what we do. I'm the Senior Public Art Coordinator at NYC Parks, and I oversee the Art in the Parks program, which is our temporary public art program that permits temporary public artworks citywide. Temporary public artworks are on view for up to 1 year. Largely what we do is sculptural. We do some murals here and there, but largely it's and fence installations. Sorry, lost my train of thought. So we work with a vast array of artists, exhibitors, galleries, arts organizations, community groups, etc., to program these exhibitions. Tonight we're here to share some details about an upcoming exhibition on Park Avenue between 34th and 38th Streets. This will be following up to the current exhibition that's there now by Bruno Catalano, which hopefully you've seen. They're really great, kind of playing with visual optical illusions a little bit. The next exhibition is by an artist named Michel Bassompierre, a series of animal sculptures. They will be installed following the end of the Bruno Catalano in May. For this site, just so you're aware, we do work closely with DOT Bridges because there is the vehicular tunnel underneath Park Avenue, just to make sure that everything is safe and stable. Nothing's going to fall over into the roadway or fall through into the vehicular tunnel below. And that's worked quite well. I am joined by Emmanuel Olivas from Galleries Bar2, the gallery that is coordinating this exhibition, who will share more information about the artworks. Also, I see John Harari here from Patrons of Park Avenue and the Murray Hill Neighborhoods Association, who's also supporting this exhibition, as they have the previous several exhibitions on Park Avenue. So I think with no further ado, I'll turn it over to Emmanuel to share just some details about the artworks. And then John, I don't know if you wanted to add anything as well, but take it away.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Elizabeth, and good to see all of you. I might have met some of you last year when we did this presentation. Can you guys hear me, by the way? You can, right? Okay, awesome. So yes, as Elizabeth said, we're going to be doing an incredible exhibition following Bruno Catalano, which has been a complete success for us, for the neighborhood as well. I think John could agree with that. We're going to be presenting 9 monumental pieces for Michel Bassompierre, who's an incredible French sculptor. This time, we're going to be looking at animals, very beautiful resin and bronze sculptures. The title of the exhibition is going to be Fragile Colossals, and it's basically the idea of having this very large, monumental scale, endearing animals in the middle of Manhattan. It's going to be a whole new exhibition, of course. That's going to be very different than the previous ones that we've had, Bruno Catalano with the Travelers, and then the year before we had Carol Furman. The same setup, as Elizabeth said, is going to be followed with the same guidelines that we've had over the last 2 years. I will share just briefly a few images of the exhibition. I'll make it brief for you guys. Let me see if I can share my screen right over here. Can you guys see it?
Yes, I can
Yes.
see it.
Okay, perfect. So we have pretty much the same layout that we've done over the last 2 years, 9 monumental pieces extending from 34th Street to 38th. They're all going to be facing each other except 34th, which is going to be facing south. This is basically the layout of each monumental piece. We're going to be, exhibiting various animals, polar bears, this awesome gorilla here. We're going to be showcasing these, let me see how many polar bears, about 3 or 4 different polar bears. They're all going to be done with resin. We have some of the technical sheets here, and we're also going to be doing the inauguration on Park Avenue Days, which is something that I think John would take over now and tell you guys a little bit about this day. John? I don't know if he is here.
Hey, I'm here.
Hi, John.
Emmanuel, I saw your cursor moving so much. I didn't know where my cursor was. Okay.
No problem. No problem. Go ahead.
Yeah, so hey, everyone, my name is John Harari. I am president of the Murray Hill Neighborhood Association, and I'm also co-chair of Patrons of Park Avenue. So I've been working with Elizabeth extremely closely, and also Emmanuel and his team over the past several years. This is it's going to be our 4th ever exhibition on Park Avenue in the Murray Hill neighborhood. And working with Elizabeth, working with Emmanuel has been absolutely incredible. I feel like every year it gets bigger, better, more exciting. And, now that, we've been doing this now for several years and we figured out a rhythm and how it all works, what we did last year and why we're specifically targeting this date, May 17th, because we're tying it within our street festival. So every year we get the opportunity to do a street festival once a year where we block off Park Avenue between 34th and 40th. And now that we've been doing these art installations, we said to ourselves, why not debut the latest artwork with the actual artist who is here, physically here, with the actual New York City Street Festival that we've been hosting for decades. And it's absolutely incredible. It elevates the neighborhood. It elevates the street festival. As you know, every weekend, there's like a street festival going on in the city. In my mind, they're not necessarily as elevated as they should be, but this really is something very special, unique. And I actually sent you guys the link in the chat. And the Gallery Bartow really takes it to the next level. We actually have the artist there. There's a whole ceremony around it. And it just elevates the neighborhood. It elevates Park Avenue. It gets people out, gets people to take photos. It creates a lot of excitement, and it's as if Park Avenue now is, every year it's like an art gallery on the streets. And the last installation with Bruno Catalano, we had domestic press, international press, local press, TV, social media, print media, all the above. And that just creates positive feelings, vibes. It gets people excited. And it's literally as simple as just, putting beautiful sculptures on Park Avenue. So, the partnership with NYC Parks, with an amazing gallery like Gallery Bartow and the amazing artists that they represent, as well as with a neighborhood association like the Murray Hill Neighborhood Association and the Patrons of Park Avenue, which specifically focuses on content within Park Avenue in Murray Hill, like those synergies, I think there's nothing like it in New York City and also around the world. And it just makes it very special and unique. And it's just an exciting thing. And I sent in the chat a link. Oh, actually, I just sent to the host and panelists. I don't know if I can send it to everybody. But anyway, we just ask that you guys sign up for that, just so that we're aware that you're interested in coming. We'll have a ribbon cutting with the artist. It's also like a meet and greet. And that's basically at a very, very high level.
And as Elizabeth said, the exhibition will run exactly like this previous one ran. It's going to be a full year. And yes, like John said, we're gonna do the inauguration is gonna take place on May 17th, which is the day of the festival, with the artists present. Last year was incredibly, emotional for the artists to be out here. So just to be getting the opportunity to continue to show there has been unbelievable. So thank you.
Thank you for that presentation. It's amazing to see every year those amazing sculptures that have been around, and I enjoy that, and I know all of our committee members will enjoy it and have enjoyed it. So we're looking forward to that, and I hope we have all the information. I think you said this May 17th, but certainly we need publicity on that, and thank you for coming here this evening. I think it's more remarkable to have the artist, in resident, and to have the neighborhood be able to meet him or her, depending on who it is, and as well, guests in the neighborhood, the tourists. I think that's an amazing piece to it as well.
Yes, absolutely. We have our gallery in Soho, and it's incredible to to hear people walk by and say, "Oh my God, I've seen the pieces on Park Avenue." A lot of obviously travelers that are in a cab coming from LaGuardia or JFK driving by Park Avenue, they see them from the car and they just completely are blown away. So it's awesome that we keep the variety for people, and yeah, it's just it's an exciting thing.
The motion to endorse the placement of the sculpture on Park Avenue.
Second.
Second. All in favor? Motion approved.
I'm just curious about one thing. How did that lucky gorilla end up with all the bears?
I'm looking at the selection, there's gonna be about 3 gorillas that we're gonna show. Yeah, so we have this one here. This one is in white resin. This one's gonna be on 34 feet. So this one's actually gonna be the main piece. So it's sort of the opener. And then from there, we're gonna go to, this pretty bears. This is there's like polar bears, there's like grizzly bears. Here's another gorilla, I'll show you. This one's going to be on 36th Street. And this is sort of a mock-up of what the piece will look like. I don't know if you can see it with me sharing the screen. Here's a polar bear. This one's amazing as well. I'm sorry if I'm going too fast. There's 3 gorillas. There we go.
Wow, they're fantastic. I'm a big gorilla fan.
They're going to be amazing. Can't wait for you guys to see them.
Can I put
Yes.
Can I actually, where does the stuff go once it's taken down? Where do these artworks go?
So it really depends, some of these will either go back to the artists' studios, or some of them store, and then until we find another location to display them. It just depends. For Carol Fearman, who was the artist who did the swimmers back 2 years ago, we actually relocated 5 of them from Park Avenue to Seaport. So it really just depends. They're there for a full year. Some of them going through restoration, and then once they're ready, then we try to find another place for them. They're so beautiful to be put away.
Have a question from a community member that's present at the meeting.
So I want to know, how are the sculptures made, and is it hollow inside the sculptures, or is it like filled with resin or something else?
That's a good one.
What was the question?
I wanted to ask how the sculptures that were made, and is it like hollow inside them?
They are, yeah, they are. So these are all of the pieces will be made out of resin. So they will be hollowed inside and secure onto the basis, to the panel. The reason we're doing resin it's just lighter, it's and aside from bronze being heavier, resin will be more durable. It's the same material that we used that the pieces were made out of when we did the swimmers. A lot of those were also made out of resin, so it just keeps the piece lighter and more durable to be outdoors. The thing is, when you look at them, they look like they're made out of bronze, so they have this really beautiful polish coating on them to protect them.
Love it.
That sounds great.
Fantastic.
That was wonderful.
Thank you.
And
So, no
Thank
other
you.
comments?
Thank
We
you.
will-
Yeah.
I'll just,
Thank you so much.
Yes.
you.
We'll talk
If I may-
public art for you soon.
All right, take care.
Bye.
Thank
A
you, guys.
resolution
Bye-bye.
required of us. A resolution isn't required of us, though, I'm sure. they
I'll
would
write the
welcome it.
resolution, so long as I can get the presentation.
Yeah. Okay, and do we want to do a roll call vote, or
Everyone
it
agrees.
seems like
I
everyone?
We don't need a resolution, but Marty said he'll write it.
Yeah, so.
Yes.
if it's
Okay.
unanimous consent, then we don't
Yeah.
need to.
I w-
Do
I
what?
will
If you would
say
like to
we're,
write one, then yeah, that's fine.
we don't require it, but we're always happy to have one. So,
Okay.
and I think I shared the deck. If you need any other documents from us or the link, just let me know and I can email them over. But I believe I shared that prior to the meeting.
Yes.
Yes, I have that, thank you, I'll share that.
Great.
With everyone.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Marty, for doing the resolution, and we're all in favor of that. So
Happy, it's a happy
Yes.
resolution.
Yes.
Can't beat that.
Artistic and happy.
Yeah.
And thank you for bringing such wonderful art, making that accessible to New Yorkers, everyday New Yorkers. I think that's fantastic.
We need it right about now.
Oh, my God, that's what I was thinking. It's a beautiful thing.
Oh, yeah, no, it's fine.
Shall we move on
Yeah.
to item number 2 on the agenda? Yes.
Hey, good evening, everyone.
Hello.
Hey,
Hello.
Hello. So I got a bit of some good news regarding St. Martin's Park, the playground. The project is moving along. We have obtained the necessary permits and is now scheduled to enter procurement phase, the procurement phase on April 1st. So which means that they will go out for bid between spring and summer. Yes, be ready for that. MacArthur Playground, I've been getting asked about, some future renovations for this particular park. We are currently seeking funds in, FY 26 budget to do the playground over. So, good thing for that. MacArthur and St. Martin's. So slowly but surely we're getting all of the parks in District 6 to be upgraded. And so and that's about all I have. Mike might have some stuff for Stuyvesant that he's been working on. Mike? Nope, they can't hear you.
I think you're unmuted now,
Are we waiting for Robert?
yeah. He's unmuted, but I'm not sure if the headset's connected.
We can't hear him. Maybe he's taking it off.
Hold on, he's coming up. He's coming over here because something's going on with his computer. Hold on. I know. These computers are all messed up.
Oh, can you hear me now, guys?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, we've been treating the Stuyvesant Square Park for about 3-4 weeks now. And they have some rats there that have been burrowed in there. And we have several rat colonies that have been there for some time. So, so far we've treated about 81 burrows. We did 47 today. And we have about 40 more to go to treat, and I'll finish them next Tuesday. And then after we treat the rats on the west side of Stuyvesant, we're going to go over there to the east side, and so we're going to start flagging. So so far that RX carbon monoxide machine works very effectively. We get a pretty high kill, and it's very portable. And I've used baits in the past, not in this park, but others, and dry ice. And this is the best way that we found so far, that I've found so far for treating these animals. So I think we're doing pretty good. So like I said, we got about a couple of hours to do it on next Tuesday, and then I'll be moving over to the east side.
Thank you for the update on that. Marty has a question.
Yeah.
Do the deceased animals leave an odor or?
No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. They die underground. Yeah, it's the carbon monoxide displaces the oxygen, the O2, and they basically just get a week, and then the respirate. They actually faint, and then they die. It's relatively quick.
Thank you.
That's a question.
Question from the audience.
Like, how do they, like, it seems like you do something to put some gas there to kill the rats, but like, how do they make it underground? I mean, it seems like if it's carbon monoxide, it seems like at least like, how do they go like back underground to die? Like, how does it happen?
Well, the way we treat it is we put a nozzle. The animals are burrowed now. They're in the burrow, yeah. And there's approximately 3 holes per burrow. They have an entrance, an exit, and then they have usually an escape burrow. I mean, an escape hole that's hidden. So we just we put this hose in there that injects a type of smoke. It's not the it's not the carbon monoxide yet. It's just so we can identify the holes, and then we cover the holes with soil and tap it down, and then we'll close around the rat hole that we've got the hose injected. Then we turn on the carbon monoxide. So the animal, they just basically get weak, and they get kind of sleepy, and then they pass away because there's no oxygen left in the burrow. And when the animals die, they're underground. So if any of the animals escape with the holes, which sometimes happens, then they're perfectly healthy. But we try to do it very carefully and very quietly, not to spook the animals when we do this type of treatment. But so far, it's very effective. Mm-hmm. It's faster than the poisons, and it's much more economical than the dry ice. Yeah.
Okay, any other questions?
Sandy has her hand raised.
Paige?
Your hands up.
Paige?
Sandy has her raised first.
Sandy was first. Okay, Sandy?
Okay, sorry to switch topics. I'm the one who was always asking about the East River Esplanade in our district, 37th Street. I wondered if you had an update for us for the work there.
I don't have an update on 37th Street. There's, I think, the only thing that I think is coming up is the Masons, when they get a chance. I think there was a large planter, a round planter that was damaged, and I understand that the Masons are going to do it. They can't do it now because it's too cold. The concrete won't set. But that's go ahead.
Sorry, there's work scheduled to work on the bulkhead and replace some or work on the sinkholes that are there?
On 37th Street.
Well, yes, it's as part of the park.
I'd have to ask Steve Simon about that. He hasn't mentioned it to, but that's he's in the office. I might be able to when Sheena gets back on. I might be able to get him.
That'd be
Yeah.
fantastic. Thank you. It's been
Uh,
in design and we heard about it several years ago here at this committee.
Mhm.
So what I did was I reached out to Steve to
Thank
get an update.
Sorry, Paige.
I don't think they're hearing you. One second, let me put Sheena back on. I think she has an update for you.
Okay.
Once our machines are not working, yeah. So you got to bear with us a wee bit.
Hello, you can hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So what we did, we just got back into the East River Esplanade. So we actually going to work on where we stand at. We're going to get all the information because we have to acquire it from Steve on where we stand at along the East River Esplanade and get an update so we'll be able to better answer these questions for East River Esplanade, the Esplanade. At this point now, we just acquired the property March 1st. Back in our sector hub. So I sent him out the information and I'm waiting for him to get back to me to let me know what phase we're on and when we will start each phase. Because you're not the only one that's asking, there's others are asking about, different sections of the Esplanade all the way up to 125th Street. So we're looking to get that information and hopefully by the next meeting I'll have that information for you.
And so will it be the same group that does 37th as well as down the ESCR portion?
I don't know. I don't know. I've been out of touch with this area since they took it away from me over a year ago. So I don't know. I don't want to answer that and I don't have the correct answer. So I'll get all of the information that I can from Steve, and once I can get all the information on by the next meeting, I'll be able to let you, inform you of what we have certain so far. Because this is not the only one. This runs into districts 8 as well. District 6 and 8 kind of one parallel with each other. If y'all go from, we have actually the whole East River Esplanade from 125th to 37th Street. But certain sections, District 8 is focusing on. They focus on their area. And District 6 focus on there. So I have to get back in time in tune with this to find out where we at and what's going on. I know that part that you're talking about, which is Glick Park. It was supposed to go under prior to me leaving. It was in that stage, but I don't know what happened after that. Lots of things can take place. Funding and other little things might have came about. So I have an answer for you at the next meeting.
Thank you. Welcome back to that area, Sheena. We're so glad that you're going to take care of it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Sheena. Question, Robert?
Hi, Sheena, this is Rob. How you doing? Hi.
Okay.
I have a question with regard to the Astor Levy area. I was walking by there over the weekend and I noticed that the workers were there in the pool area and they were working on the pool. And I'm wondering if you know how long that repair or whatever they're doing there is going to last, because it was very, very dusty. And I noticed the workers there were wearing masks, and I noticed all the dust and whatever they were doing was going out into the street. So I'm just wondering if you know how long that's going to last for, because it seemed very, very dusty what they were doing there.
Well, we know it's going to open for the summer. Right. I know that. I don't have all of the information about the pool area because usually that's it's I usually get a lot of the information from Ken regarding that, but I'm sure it's going to be done before the pool season. We're prepping now for pool season. Because it's going to happen like in a flash. Things are going to be moving really quickly. So I'm sure maybe the repairs that was needed to get done is starting out, because the weather's kind of breaking a little bit. We have some days that's good, some days is bad, and I think they're probably just taking advantage of the good days to to lessen the time frame that they be able to whatever work that needs to get done. So I'm sure we'll be prepared for the summer. So if anybody's worried about that.
Right, no, I'm just concerned about the fumes that and the dust that was in the air while the workers were in there, doing whatever they were doing. That's all.
I'm more sure that it's safe. They're not gonna do something that's not supposed to get done, right? I'm sure whatever they were doing, it's safe enough for and it won't cause any harm, right? Nothing is 100%, but I'm almost sure that if they were doing to work, they had the permission to do it.
Thank you, Sheena. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank
I
you.
think Paige, we skipped over Paige.
Yeah, I didn't see her hand. Paige, we'd like to hear your question, comments?
I don't have a question. My hand isn't raised.
Oh.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that, but nice to hear you. So are there any other questions for Shayna? Okay, if there are no questions, Robert, any questions for Robert? Hey, thank you both for attending this evening. Appreciate your input and keeping on top of the matters at hand.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Good night.
See you next one.
So now I'll just go into just like a brief overview of the statement of district needs and budget requests. So you'll bear with me for a moment. So just to briefly introduce it, I shared the current narrative district needs statement with the committee earlier today by email. But for those who aren't familiar with it, each year CB6 submits its statement of community district needs and its community board budget requests to the city. It's mandated by section 2800 D10 of the New York City Charter. And of course, the New York City Charter defines the organization, powers, functions, and essential procedures of the city government. For those of you who are not familiar with where to find this on the website, you can find it on the website by clicking on hovering over the committees section and then clicking on budget and governmental affairs and clicking where it says the annual district statement. So I'll just share my screen to show everyone where you can find that. So on the budget and governmental affairs, which you can get you by hovering on the committees and clicking there. You'll see here that the annual district needs statement, there's a link right there. You click on it, it opens. It's a 47-page document currently, so there's quite a bit of text here. But that's how you can get to it. Whereas you might be familiar with the budget request portion, you're probably less familiar with the annual district needs statement narrative. And of course, as you probably, those of you who have been on board for some time know, each committee will review the community board budget requests that are relevant to their particular committee. And then the full board will vote on the total list of budget requests as a whole every October. Now, the narrative portion of the statement of district community district needs goes into more detail about the greatest needs in the different policy areas that the Department of City Planning outlines for us. And one policy area is entitled Parks, Cultural, and Other Community Facilities. They lump those three areas together. So the board office has reviewed the narrative portion of the statement of community district needs, and we've determined that there's some revisions which should be made so that it reflects the current conditions in our district, because it's been a number of years since we've done this. So let me just share my screen again to show you the other documents, the Google Doc that I shared with the committee. So you'll see here, the first task that we have essentially that we're given by the Department of City Planning is to identify the most important parks, cultural, and other community facilities issue that the district is facing. So currently, out of this list here, we've chosen the quality of parks and park facilities. But if we wanted, we could change it to one of these other categories. And I won't read through them all right now, but it's something to consider. And then our second task, once we've identified or settled on the most important category or issue, is to explain why that issue is more important than the others. And you'll see here our explanation as it exists currently as well. And then thirdly, we can choose to elaborate on the specific needs for parks, cultural services, library services, and community forums. And you can see here our text, and this is where I'll go into some of the portions of the narrative that have really produced some updating. So you'll see here, it says during the Eastside Coastal Resiliency Project, Murphy Brothers Playground, Sty Cove Park, Ashley Levy Playgrounds, and Captain Patrick J. Brown Walk will be remodeled and upgraded to include improved programming, landscapes, recreational fields, playgrounds, and/or amenities. It's estimated these parks will be closed for 3.5 to 5 years. As part of the ESCR project, a flood barrier will be deployed to prevent flood inundation. Still, CB6 advocates for supplemental action. So, ESCR is, at least the project area 2 portion is wrapping up. The parallel conveyance portion, which doesn't impact parks really, that is still in progress, but this just shows you it's been several years since we updated this. And then, as we know from the January meeting, the interior of Ashley Levy Recreation Center will be upgraded. And it will, that project will also feature some floodproofing as well. So again, this is really outdated, and it's something that we should look to update. And another topic that I know last year, the committee heard a presentation on tree planting and bioswales. So this is another area that we can update. And so that's just a few instances. I won't go into the whole thing, but we should, over the next few months anyway, consider updating that narrative portion. And then, of course, as the committee is more familiar with, I'm sure, we have the both the community board budget requests and the responses that we received. And so I'll just show that on the screen. So this is our Airtable budget request, which is also on the website. I've filtered it so that it just shows the parks related requests. And I don't know if the committee wants to really start going through these yet. But I've emailed the link to this Airtable so that you know, for next month, we can start looking through these and seeing if there's any updates that we want to make.
So
So,
the text that was highlighted is there something you already went and highlighted because it's dated?
yeah, so I took a look at the narrative, and highlighted or commented on specific portions that really need to be updated, but when the committee has time, we can go through that in more detail.
So Brian, thank you for doing the, reading through the narrative and making those corrections. And I know we've been tuned in, and I know Sandy at one of our last full board meetings also mentioned looking at all the resolutions we did last year over the couple of years. So also thank you for sending us the links ahead of time. And I think, does anyone have comments now? But probably will want to, as Brian suggested, look at these in more detail before our next couple of meetings so that we can make some suggestions or give feedback on these particular pieces to the narrative that need to be updated, and also the budget requests. I also know we have the proposal for the tree grates for the Sutton Place community. So is it appropriate to look at that one now, or is that another agenda item?
I think what we can do, right? I think it's a good idea if everyone on the committee, we can have a look at the district statement, the needs, and then also we can have a look at the budget request, and then next month we can speak about it a bit more with like different details or any type of questions that we have. So have some more time to have a look at it. As for the tree grade, so I was just going to bring that up after this part.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Neil.
So I just had one question. So what's the deadline? So because on my other committee, we were given a deadline because another committee needs to review any revisions we make. So what's the deadline here?
So we'd have more time since Parks doesn't share this particular section with another committee. But essentially, we'd like to have this done no later than September, and preferably June before we break for the summer. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Sounds good.
Since much of it's done, and
looks like
a
we did a
lot of
lot.
it is, like the East Side Resiliency will be, it's now changed to has done, things like that, so it's really well written, I know I didn't write it, but whoever did a great job.
I thought you did.
No, but when I was doing the budget.
Won't
request,
tell anyone you did.
way back when, I didn't handle that at all. I don't know who was doing it at the time.
Yeah, so we can, so we'll take a look at that and we can come back to it.
Very good. So next meeting, we will have, further look and
Start looking at
suggestions.
it.
Thank you.
And thank you. Mark.
Yeah, we could, look more into it. So everything's there. All right. So I think that's that on the agenda item. So we just get to chair's report. I had I had spoken to everyone just to say that for the April meeting, we're looking at the possibility of meeting at a landmark. It would be St. George's in the Gramercy Park area. St. George's Church is a landmark. And so we've been talking about going there to have that. The church, they need to confirm that they would have a sexton, a custodian who would be able to, lock everything up and make sure the church was okay in the facility in the hall. So we shared that, and we can give some updates. And I think it'll be really nice. I mean, let's really try to make this happen, because the committee before in the past had meetings at the Morgan Library. So it'd be really nice if we can maybe start this tradition and build off of this one. So let's work to get this done. We'll see if we can get it from April. Fingers crossed.
Excellent, wow, very good.
And then I think, so that's chair's report. And then we go to the new business, no, old business. Okay, so old business, we will just, we'll vote on the tree grades resolution that we had just because of, timing wise, we missed the deadline. And so this one, we would just, we would have to vote on this one again, and then we would present it to full board. So can I make the motion?
Please make the
Or-
motion.
Yes, please.
Yeah,
Everyone's read, let's make sure everyone has seen this
Mhm.
document, yes, okay.
So this is the rest here. Short and sweet.
Yep.
So we just need a motion and a second.
Second.
Great,
Right.
yes. So a motion's been made and seconded. On a resolution of support for the Sutton area community's capital expenditure request for $189,746 to install 61 tree grades on First Avenue from 53rd Street to 59th Street. We'll take a roll call vote. When I call your name, please reply in favor, opposed, abstained, or none. Marty Barrett.
Abstain.
Thank you. Paige Judge.
In favor?
Thank you. Anton Mulder.
Favor.
Thank you. Reshma Patel. She's not with us, I'm sorry. Letty Simon.
In favor?
Thank you. Mark Thompson.
In favor.
Thank you. Neil Barkley.
in favor.
Thank you. Sarah Whittington.
In favor.
Thank you. Robert Farkman.
In favor.
Thank you. Mubin Siddiqui.
In favor.
Thank you. Gloria Hayes.
In favor.
Thank you. So with 9 in favor, 0 opposed, 1 abstention, and 0 not entitled, the motion passes.
Excellent.
Okay.
Very
Thanks,
good.
Mark, for putting that together. So I think at 7:24, no other questions, should be okay. So, gotta recognize Sarah, great job, terrific, thank you so much.
Bravo.
Thank you,
All right.
Sarah.
My chair is a good mentor.
So
Those
we
of
will-
us in the peanut gallery appreciate you.
Thank you very much.
All right.
So.
Well, have a good